Knock on wood, if your child had been taken from you for 17 years, forced to live in hardship, and the people responsible not only denied everything in court, but the ones who paid for it were declared unpunishable by the authorities, what would you do? In the early hours of December 4th, 2006, in Hoyu Village, Tai'an, Shandong Province, a terrifying incident took place. Around 1 a.m., 4 masked intruders cut the village's power and broke into the home of the Jiang family. The grandfather went out to check after hearing strange noises outside. He was surprised by 3 men, overpowered, and moved to the kitchen. One held him firmly to keep him quiet. The grandmother rushed out when she heard the cries. She was restrained and faced a threat with a tool. What they didn't realize at the time was that this wasn't just a robbery. Only after the attackers left did they discover the truth. Their 8-month-old grandson, Jiang Jieru, was gone. Their older grandson, still asleep in bed, was untouched. The parents, who were working in Beijing at the time, were devastated. At first, they assumed it was a kidnapping for ransom. They immediately called friends and relatives to borrow money, but the call never came. Then they wondered, had they offended someone? Was this revenge? Could their son already be gone? They searched in icy ditches in the dead of winter, hoping to find anything, while fearing the worst. The water was freezing cold, covered in dead leaves. Every time they pushed them aside, the mother braced for a nightmare. After ruling out all other possibilities, the Jiang family began to suspect the unthinkable. Their child had likely been trafficked. They printed 60,000 missing child posters, posted them everywhere, on telephone poles, at bus stops, but many were soon removed by street cleaners. The mother couldn't accept it. They printed the child's photo on t-shirts and traveled across the country. For years, they rode motorcycles deep into rural villages, carrying extra gas and instant noodles, searching one province after another. 10 years, 20 provinces. They were scammed multiple times. In 2006, just months after their son was taken, they received a phone call. A man claimed he had information, but demanded 60,000 yuan up front. That was a massive sum at the time. Desperate, they borrowed what they could and went to the location. He told them the child was inside the house. They rushed in, only to find a girl. One night, around 1 a.m., they almost didn't make it back. Exhausted from driving in the mountains, they nearly drove off a cliff. One wheel was already off the edge. Luckily, a tree stopped the car from falling. To this day, the mother still trembles when she remembers it. Eventually, they couldn't afford to keep going. The father went back to construction work to earn money. The mother continued traveling alone. At the time, their older son was just 3 years old. To protect him from any danger, the family had no choice but to send him to a boarding preschool, only seeing him once every month or two. Grandpa spent the 7 years after his grandson was taken just sitting there, staring at that empty room, lost in thought. He'd only eat 1 meal a day, barely keeping himself going. Eventually, he got lung cancer, and in the end, he passed away, lying on the same bed where his little grandson was taken away, weighed down by guilt the whole time. His last words were, "I'm sorry, I didn't protect him." The grandmother spent 12 Lunar New Years alone, hugging a photo of her missing grandson. Sometimes I felt like I couldn't go on. I didn't dare look my children in the eye. Then, in January 2024, there was a breakthrough. Facial recognition identified a match, an 18-year-old high school student. It was Jiang Jieru. The most shocking part, he had been found just 70 kilometers away, in a village the mother had visited many times. For 18 years, Jiang never saw a 100 yuan bill. He wasn't allowed to sit at the table for meals. He once got top marks on a test and asked for a toy car, but was ignored. Even after running a high fever for a whole month, no one took him to the doctor. The parents that had bought him later left to work in another city, leaving him in the care of fake grandparents. Other than school, he wasn't allowed to go out. In middle school, Jiang discovered his ID listed the wrong birth date. When he asked the woman who raised him, she said coldly, "You were picked up off the street. Stop asking questions." From that point on, he started secretly working, hauling cement, washing dishes, trying to save money. He remembered a birthmark on the back of his neck and decided to get a DNA test. When the results arrived in the mail, the woman tore them up and said, "Try to contact your real parents and I'll your legs." When police later searched the house, they found a metal box hidden under the bed. Inside it, the contract for his sale. Despite everything, Jiang stayed kind-hearted and optimistic. He recalled the moment he met his real parents.
我爸像一个混社会的小地痞，因为当时我爸穿着貂啊，然后戴着金戒指，然后对我冲击还挺大的。我爸让我坚强，他拥有什么，让我不要担心
But honestly, I didn't hear most of it. My mom was hugging me, crying nonstop. Those days, my dad barely spoke. I thought maybe he didn't like me. Later, I called my mom on a video chat and asked if dad was afraid of saying the wrong thing. He broke down crying. My younger brother kept talking, trying to show off a bit. That's when I realized how different our lives had been. But the reunion didn't last long before the truth unraveled. The man who planned the abduction, he was a neighbor, living just 200 meters away. He had often visited the Jiang family, all for a scouting fee of 12,000 yuan. He shared everything about the household. How many people lived there? Their routines, even the grandparents' personalities. The next day, he helped sell the baby for 28,600 yuan. Later, he even came over to comfort the family. Before the trial, Jiang Jiaru and his family's lawyer were still full of confidence.
我们全家都希望他
好 ，OK， 好，共同把他们诉讼。
On April 2nd, 2025, the case was heard at the Tai'an Intermediate People's Court, but 3 of the human traffickers unexpectedly retracted their confessions on the spot, denying all criminal charges with an arrogant, dismissive, and impatient attitude, leg shaking, eye rolling, and all. The neighbor, in particular, played dumb, claiming he only casually mentioned the Jiang family's situation during a chat, which infuriated the Jiang family even more.
对方律师在反问我妈的时候，其实我觉得很正常，因为被害人需要律师，在中国的所有的法庭里都很正常，每个人都有被保护的权益。但是我万万没有想到的是，被告人的律师居然敢嘲笑我们，他们我都不知道抱着一个什么样的态度。我妈讲述她的这么多年的痛苦中，她在那里笑。
After a 9-hour trial, the court announced it would deliver a verdict at a later date. Jiang's mother fainted on the spot, and even on her hospital bed, she kept muttering about needing justice and ensuring the culprits faced punishment. On July 7th, 2025, the Feicheng People's Procuratorate in Tai'an, Shandong, determined that the couple who bought the infant in the home invasion infant abduction case committed the crime of purchasing a trafficked child. However, due to the statute of limitations having expired, they decided not to prosecute the couple. 17 years of searching for my child with my life on the line, and now the procuratorate tells me I can't prosecute the buyers or the accomplices. Who's going to pay for the suffering my son and I endured? I won't accept this. The Jiang family's lawyer argued that the buying couple registered the child with a fake household record, showing clear intent to evade detection, which should exempt the case from the statute of limitations. They also claimed the female buyer's father and the neighbor who once quoted a price were criminally liable and planned to appeal. According to Article 240 of the Criminal Law of the People's Republic of China, trafficking children carries a sentence of 5 to 10 years in prison, along with fines or confiscation of property. For lighter cases, it's up to 5 years with fines. For severe cases, such as stealing and selling infants, it can mean 10 years to life or even the death penalty, with fines or property confiscation. The collective retraction by the trafficking ring, paired with the defense lawyer's contemptuous attitude, makes the trial outcome uncertain.